Hello everybody, Travis here for Tpull's Corner, and this deck focuses on this Duskmorn card, Unholy Annex and Ritual Chamber. I've done one once before, and I had the idea instead of using regular demons throughout all, I'd have some demons, but I used Changeling a lot, so there were a lot of shapeshifters in the deck. So, you know, the creature counts as everything, so it's automatically counting as a demon as well. And it was a fun deck. It ran into some troubles when, you know, it was a removal heavy environment and it seemed like the opponent had... I don't think I want to cycle that just yet. Let's see if I draw the third land. A lot of opponents had like really heavy removal, so sometimes I couldn't get it to hang out quite right. But as soon as I put it out, I had multiple comments with people saying, oh, you should use for.core. And this was right when Lore 1 first came out. And I didn't know what for.core was, but in the time since that video came out in the last 4 months, I got 3 of these. And so I decided, you know what's close enough. I'll burn one more wild card. We'll go ahead and make a 4th one, and we'll revisit this deck, because this is not a creature, this is an artifact, and it has Shapeshifter. So even though, I mean, you can spend 4 and turn it into a 4/4 artifact creature and hit your opponent for 4, but it doesn't matter. It's already all creature types on the field, which means we're already getting to put our win condition down, unless they have a counterspell. They let it go. Okay. So as far as I know, we just won. We get a card draw. We get life gain. We've got a permanent card draw advantage. And permanent life draw advantage, unless they can get rid of artifacts. And this is a card which I've frequently
seen scarier things in a bowl of noodles.
Is overpowered and should have been banned. So it should not be here.
My eyes are as sharp as my sword.
They're matching our card draw already. Don't like the land, don't need the land. Let's go see what else they have. Ah, milling cards, eh? And a counter target spell. And an Aetherize. Okay. We'll get rid of that creature. We'll put down the demon wall. We'll draw a card and gain 2 life points while they lose 2 life points. We're not going to attack with anything, so Aetherize is toast. We do have a lot of demons in our deck that are really expensive, so if they hold 2 mana open for Quench, that's going to really... it's going to really restrict us. Go ahead and take the hit. This also gives us mana. They're holding open mana. This is not a regular spell. This is just unlocking a room, so they can't stop that with Quench.
I thrive in the dark.
They can tap it down with their Planeswalker. They also might try and just create a token that's a copy of it. We shall see. None of this really matters anymore. I mean, they have some options. It's not like the game is completely over for them. But I'm going to go back up to 20 life points each time. And then I'm going to get a second one of these. And if they had a way to stop the first one, they're not going to be able to stop the second one. Create a copy that's a copy of something else.
I've got you beat 6 different ways.
That was just a terrible mistake for them because they tapped out, so I don't know what they were thinking. First of all, we attack. We get rid of the Planeswalker.
This place needs more
We can get
hospitality.
rid of artifacts or creatures. They don't have any of that. We can get rid of Deathcap Marionette. And that's it. What do we want to get rid of? Let's get rid of Biomutilator. Oh, that's good. Look at all that goodness. Yeah, don't think it's enough. Still don't think it's enough. Only one of those. They've got some board wipes in there. And we have this. Well, they're mostly tapped out. We'll get rid of the Nighthawk again. Swing in for 6, and then cause them to lose 2 more over here while we get yet another card draw. And they can't use Kicker on that. And this is the real strategy. They wanted to mill me. Whenever you see Scrabbling Skull Crab, that kind of tells you they really wanted to mill, really. That was their big thing. And we're already done. They didn't keep anything to return all creatures, attacking creatures to their hand. I'm not sure what they were thinking. They had other things they could have done other than that. That's all I'm going to say. Alright, let's go ahead and show you the deck. I call it Changeling in the Chamber. And what we did is we got rid of all the other changelings that we had used before, and we have 4 copies of Furdock Core. So this is the win condition. We already showed it to you. We go get the Unholy Annex. We go get Furdock Core. If we have time, we put the Furdock Core down first to avoid losing any life points. It counts as a demon, so once we put down the Unholy Annex for just 3, we get to, at the beginning of our end step, we'll draw a card. Since the Furdock Core counts as a demon, they'll lose 2 life, we'll gain 2 life. And in the meantime, even if they do get rid of that Furdock Core somehow, by that time we should be able to have 5 mana to open up the Ritual Chamber and get the 6/6 Black Demon creature token with flying. Everything else that's a creature in here is a demon, and you go and look and see it's an expensive deck. It's 4.4. And you think, what in the world is going on? We're trying to get 3.0 basically. How do you manage 4.0? Well, we've got a lot of drops that are like more than 5. We'll get to them. But it's all, when you look at our creatures, although they have a bunch of different types, all 12 of them are all demons. Okay? So we start with 3 copies of Intimidation Tactics. I've done a lot of discard decks, but I don't usually use this card. But it's kind of fun for me. So I'm trying to find some of the cards that I don't normally use that I think might fit in with some of my deck concepts. This one only gets rid of an artifact or creature card, so it's got more limitations than your average discard spell, but it only costs 1, and if I don't need to worry about discarding, I can spend 3 to cycle it, get rid of it, and draw something more useful. I only have 1 demon wall, so I decided to use it. First of all, it matches the demon, but it gives me a nice little chump block at the very beginning. Has Defender and Menace, so it can attack normally. However, once it gets counters on it, it can attack as though it didn't have Defender, and then it automatically has Menace. So, in the meantime, it's a sort of a self-fulfilling card, right? They gave it a mechanism to allow it to achieve this this goal. Once you get up to 6 mana, you can put 2 +1/+1 counters on it, and then it doesn't really need anything else to give it counters if you don't want it to. 1 copy of Demonic Council. You can search your library for a demon card, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. It also has Delirium. If there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard, you can search for any card, not just a demon. I burned 3 more uncommon wild cards to get 4 copies of Exsanguinate because I wanted to have a fun card in here. And the meta was too fast. It worked out fine when I started, But then the longer I went, it started giving me like green and white decks that had just toughness 1 creatures. Really cheap stuff, you know. Started giving me mono red aggro. And I'm like, okay, you were giving me like 1 or 2 exsanguinates in my starting hand all this time. And now you're just giving me cheap creatures. So I had to get rid of 2 copies of exsanguinate. And in their place, I put in 2 copies of Seeker's Folly. Sometimes I use it to make them discard 2 cards, but more often than not, creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. That's what I use it for a lot. And because Magic doesn't want you to have any fun. This is a powerful card. You have to have, like if I had 7 mana, I could tap X would be 5, they would lose 5 life, I'd gain 5 life. However, that said, in this deck, sometimes it seems like a win more card, but sometimes I can win 2 different ways. I can win by hitting them with my creatures, or I can win by casting Exsanguinate. And sometimes I can't get through their creatures, but I can still win by Exsanguinate. So sometimes it's a win more card, sometimes it's just like an alternate way to win. Sometimes it's the only thing that saves me. Dubious Delicacy, this is good for the flash, so I can play it on their turn. When it enters, up to 1 target creature gets -3/-3 till end of turn. I have also won by sacrificing this artifact and having the target opponent lose 3 life. You just let it sit there on the field the entire match, and they forget about it eventually. From the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we have Madame Knoll Power Broker. She is also a demon. She's a demon advisor. Only 1/3, but a good blocker with Death Touch. When another creature enters, you may pay life equal to its power. If you do, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. It depends. Normally I don't do that, but if we have Unholy Annex out and my life score is over 20, I might go ahead and take them up on that. Another card I haven't really used that much yet, Overkill. I have 2 copies, and target creature gets -0, -9999 to their toughness. So since we're always running up against landfall, I decided that would be a good card for removal. 1 more removal, Consumed by Greed, makes them sacrifice a creature with the greatest power among creatures they control. 3 copies of the End. And the reason why I do Consumed by Greed and not 4 copies of the End is because sometimes there's protection and the End doesn't work on them. You can't target the creature. But Consumed by Greed makes the opponent sacrifice a creature, and it's the greatest power, so usually the biggest threat. So also there's a lot of cards in the environment because they've released so many sets and they delayed rotation. There's a lot more cards that can go in and take away 4 of your cards, right? There's there's board wipes that you can exile cards from your graveyard and go look for stuff. There's cards where they can just play the spell and name the card. There's cards where they can look at your hand and then choose one. There's so many ways that they can exile multiple types of your card. Instead of using 4 of everything, you'll notice I've got 1 off, 2, 2, 1, 3. I'm not necessarily using 4 copies of everything right now in this in the way I'm making up my decks. The demons are all 1-offs. Here's Bloodletter of Akhlazotz. 2/4 with flying. If an opponent would lose life, you lose twice as much life instead. This is good to pair with Unholy Annex because they're going to lose 4 life instead of 2 if both of these cards are out at the end of the turn. Siphon Fuel, 1 more removal that also gains me life. A target creature gets -6/-6. This is from Aether Drift, but I think it works well with the landfall environment. Savanti Romero, times exile, another Ninja Turtle card. Legendary Demon Wizard, 4/4 with trample. At the beginning of combat on your turn, he gets a +1/+1 counter. Then you draw X cards and lose X life, where X is the number of counters on Savanti Romero. I don't have a chance to use him that often because everybody kills him all the time. Arbiter of Woe is an additional cost. You have to sacrifice a creature, but when you get him down, it's a 5/4 with flying. When it enters, each opponent discards a card and loses 2 life. You draw a card and gain 2 life. So it's like a 1-turn Unholy Annex. Gurmag Rakshasa, say that 3 times fast. This is from Tarkir. 5/5 with Menace Demon. When it enters, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-2, and a target creature you control gets +2/+2. Miasma Demon. 5/4 demon with flying. When it enters, you can discard any number of cards. When you do, up to that many target creatures each get -2/-2 until end of turn. Now, I misread this card, probably purposefully so by wishful thinking. What I felt it should do is it should be a -X/-X, right? If I discard 5 cards, I should have 5 targets. They should all get -5, -5. And I should be able to kill 5 of my opponent's creatures, because I'm getting rid of 5 of my cards, and I already played 6 mana to get the creature down. It's only -2, -2, so don't play it on the 5/5 creature. Don't discard a card, to do that. There are times when you can run a creature in against a big creature they'll block, and then he'll have a little bit of damage. Then maybe -2, -2 is enough to finish it off. So you have to think about it. But there was at least 2 times where I discarded extra cards, targeted all these creatures, and like only 2 or 3 of them died. And I'm like, oh, wait a sec. The card doesn't work that way. It only does -2, -2. Still a fun card. Runescarred Demon. I like the art on this one. 6/6 Flying Demon. When it enters, search your library for a card, put it in your hand, then shuffle. It's really nice to, if your game's lasted that long and you're not getting one part of this 2-part winning combo, you can go search for the next one. You can definitely afford to put it down the next turn. I will say there is a way that you can lose with this deck, and that's if they just don't give you Unholy Annex ever, or they never give you Furdok Core. Like maybe you get an Unholy Annex down, but they've got removal on all your creatures, and you just never get the core. That's one way to lose. Shephet Archfiend, Aether Drift card, 5/5 Flying Demon. When this creature enters, all other creatures get -2, -2 till end of turn. You can also just pay 2 and cycle it. Vile Mutilator, 7 for a 6/5 demon. Additional cost, you have to sacrifice a creature or enchantment. So if you're not sure the demon's going to stay around, you could actually sacrifice Unholy Annex to bring it down. When it enters, each opponent sacrifices a non-token enchantment of their choice, then sacrifices a non-token creature of their choice. Iron Giant is an artifact demon, 6/6 with Vigilance, Reach, and Trample from Final Fantasy. And then finally, my one copy of Valgavoth Terror Eater, Legendary Elder Demon, 9/9 flying, lifelink. His ward cost is you have to sacrifice 3 non-land permanents, and then if something's going to go into your opponent's graveyard from anywhere, it exiles instead, and we could play it, although we have to pay life instead of mana value to pay its mana cost. Over here, we've got 1 hidden Necropolis, so we can discover. We've got 1 Demolition Field to take out their special lands. I got 1 Fountain Port. It's a nice utility card I tend to put in almost all of my decks these days. And I also tend to put in 1 Pit of Offerings to exile cards from their graveyard. Just a couple of non-basic lands. Not a lot. I mostly want the opening 3 or 4 lands to be untapped if I can, to get stuff out quickly. Exsanguinate is a powerful card. So is Valgavoth. You would normally expect to only get 1 of these in your opening hand because they're both so powerful. Normally, Arena tends to do one or the other, not both. You would think. But it turns out there's some sort of glitch with X cards. X cards are listed among the most powerful, but it's like Arena looks at these two differently. This has a definite cost, this has an X cost. They are both ultra expensive. And usually that means Arena is just going to choose one of them. Let's get rid of Dying Breed. It looks like we're gonna, if we don't get an untapped land, I'll have to put down Pit of Offering so I can put down Furdok Core soon. Yeah, let's go ahead and exile this so we can just use it for our black source. And this is kind of what we see all the time. Now, we see a bunch of really fast 1/1s all over the place. Let's see if we can get rid of this one. Only one in the deck. Alright. Not a whole lot out of that, but might not keep us alive for a minute. And get indestructible, eh? Indestructible doesn't stop exile, so that can't help there. Got rid of 2 more of those. Well, we're kind of running out of runway now. That's a lot of land. Alright, let's see if Madame No slows anybody down in the slightest. Does not. Down to 4. And they can give +2. Okay, so here we can make them get rid of the Fanatical Firebrand at least. But I think they got us. Right? They can just pick up the pick and they can use Goblin Surprise. And I don't have quite enough land. I could transform this, but it would be tapped. I was 1 land short. And that was really just a case of we got... Maybe I should have played Exsanguinate earlier. I got greedy. That was probably my fault. I could have gained life by casting it. I can't really say that that's a bad match. That was my mistake. I'm always trying to save Exsanguinate for the maximum effect. I always think I have enough time, but I should have stopped and looked at the board better. That was quite possibly an unnecessary loss, but I wasn't really getting what I wanted, which was the Unholy Annex. So, as I mentioned, that can happen. They give you one or the other, perhaps. But that is a way you can lose, is if they do not give you... If you need one or the other, and they just don't deal it to you. That can happen. Let's go ahead and use this. Let's go look for a demon card. Let's look for something cheap. Oh, no, wait. We just look for the core. Even in your deck, it counts. It counts as a demon. And this is where Mono Black gets to be in trouble. Don't need to lose life. We'll just put this out. You start to feel bad for Mono Black. Oh, they've got blue, so maybe they've got something they could do about this at some point. I think I'm okay with us just doing this while they're tapped out. That gives us lots of options. Unless they have a boomerang spell. Blue's pretty good at counter spells, but they don't necessarily have a whole lot to take care of permanent. Oh, never mind, Withering Torment. Nice. Alright, that's kind of unusual, but let's get rid of their Vampire Nighthawk. That way we don't have to worry about them getting quite so much life gain. They only have 2. Look at this. This is a lot of one-offs as well. They're not doing 4 drops. Although they do have Fire Navy Trebuchet. And a little bit of discard. Just trying to see a little bit more discard. Do they have more than 60 cards? Didn't count their deck. Oh yeah, they do. That's 73 there. Got a lot of stuff in there. I feel like I don't need a second. Well, actually, let me get rid of Iron Giant. Hello? My game chooses the strangest times to freeze. Like there's nothing going on there. Okay, I didn't see another Withering Torment. So, what do we have here? Eaten Alive, Jace, counter target creature spell. Yeah, let's just give him something to do. Feel good about that, right? In the meantime, we'll go ahead and put this puppy down. Don't like the reassembling skeleton. That one's kind of a problem for me. This is where they'll probably use Eaten Alive. That's kind of fun. I just need one more land. Yep, that'll work. Now they have to dig for a very specific kind of removal card. Bringing back a skeleton from the graveyard. Not necessarily going to be the best thing. This is a really good deck for having Valgavoth in it because you have these Furdok cores. They're not legendary. So it allows you to get up to 9 mana a lot faster than normal. Let's see, target creature gets -2 and we get +2, so let's put this down here. We'll get rid of the token. We'll target this to pump it up. Nice, 11 points added to our life total. And here, you know, they did have blue, but they actually used a black card to get rid of the enchantment. There's not a whole lot that black has to destroy enchantments, but they had a little bit of flexibility there. You wonder if Arena chooses that on purpose? It's not the rarest card to see, but it's not very common that people use that one either. We're not really seeing mono black, although that was kind of close, it felt like. Lots of people try and counter spells these days. When I do face mono black, I start to feel sorry for them sometimes. There was a period of time, a couple years into playing Arena, like Arena Online had been around for 2 years when I started playing, and then a year or 2 years into it, there was this brief window of time where I just felt so sorry for mono red aggro. Like, the decks I would make, there was no chance. There's if I drew badly, perhaps there was a chance for them to win. But more often than not, I would get to a certain point, and I would just shake my head, and I'd be like, oh, poor, poor red. You just don't have any clue what's going to happen. And Wizards of the Coast didn't let that sit for too long. They usually find a way to go ahead and fix things. Again, I hate... They always put Pit of Exile near the first 3 lands, and it goes away useless. It's disgusting. I mean, I don't have that many non-basic lands. It would be nice to have that one sort of saved for a little bit. Wow, that's a lot of land. Alright. Let's pay the life. Let's get rid of that now. They've already got a lot of card draw advantage and a lot of extra lands. Let's get rid of this one now. What is this? Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. And they've already got enough land to do that. And what is my deck? My deck is basically an enchantment and some artifacts. So they've already got enough land to take me out. I feel like they've already got every ammunition that they need already in hand. And I'm just a joke to them. And even if I did get... See, like, if I got a demolition field, that's a non-basic land that I would have liked to get early. But even that's not enough because they have 2 of them already. So we can go ahead and get rid of the bat so they're not getting more life every time. Still haven't done enough land draw myself. I'm missing land draws. Still missing land draw. This is like turn 7, and I've drawn 2 lands. So yeah, that's the other way that Arena can make you lose this. It's not enough that they can already destroy everything that I have in my game plan. They've got so much land they can afford to just get rid of it. Alright, let's go ahead and just gain 3 life. I don't want them to destroy that too. Now we play this. Then we play that. And now we wait. Do they use this now? I've got replacements. They know I have the 2nd core. But... oh, look at that. Destroy. Okay. Okay. So they still have their coup de grace card, which they could have just played. Come on through. I'm still at 15. We're fine. We're fine with that. Let's try and just put out the demon first. This can get rid of the enchantment, but the 6/6 demon would still be around. Interesting choices. Let's go... No, let's not. I don't think that they have an artifact or a creature there. We're holding on to overkill to get rid of one of those. And look, they still get enough land to get it off one more time. I don't know why they're attacking with the bunny. We can stop some life gain with getting rid of the bunny. We just pass the turn, nothing to see here. More land. Overkill! Alright. As an additional cost, you have to sacrifice a creature. They gave me a creature. Do I want to do that? Hang on. Sacrifice an enchantment and a non-token creature. Yeah, let's do it. They'll have to get rid of one of those enchantments at least. They'll probably get rid of Banishing Light. And that is an instant, so next turn I can attack with the demon and not have to worry about the second land. I'll have an answer for the fortress. They need to gain 5 or more life to activate all of these. Nothing is solved yet. What? What? Do they think I have a way to bring enchantments back? That was a mistake. If I get one of the other two, I'm set. That's a nice try, but now it's gonna die. They think it's worth it to get a 6/5? Well, they solved all of these, right? So they can cast stuff from the graveyard. Let's get rid of that now. They got a lot of runway. And what all can they bring back? They could bring back Amalia too, right? Do they take my Iron Giant? I would take the Iron Giant. Why would you take my discard spell? Is this an awesome creature? My biggest problem is going to be the Essence Channeler, actually. Now, see, Pit of Offerings would have been handy to take care of that later on, as opposed to me having to spend it early on. And me without a board wipe. Oh, they did have a creature. And you notice they had just enough stuff when they needed it to get rid of the enchantments. Right? They had 3 different ways to get rid of enchantments. They actually used 2 of them until they didn't even feel they needed the 3rd one anymore. This deck is tough if you don't have an answer to enchantments. We would have drawn so much extra card draw by now. And instead, because of all the stuff that's been done to white over the past 5 years, white gets all the card draw instead. We're actually dead. There's nothing left for me to do here. In that one turn, I could double block something, but when they say that Arena just matches you against people at your general ranking score, they're lying. I faced nothing like that deck in the last month. By creating this deck, and look, they're apologizing to me, right? They've already given me enough land to cast my win condition. And they gave me both pieces of the engine up front. Multiples of the engine. Occasionally, Arena will apologize to you after they stomp you to the curb and smash your face in. We slowed him down already. Oh, look at that. Just unending increasing value every single turn. Kind of surprised they're going that route, but see what we can do. Start the card draw, start the life gain. This seems like overkill on the Furdock cores now. It's getting where they can kill me in like 1 turn or 2 hits. And now we see they can just create a copy of that, right? That's the thing we wanted. It's a sorcery, we have to do it now. Get rid of a lot of stuff. The End. That's a good card. We could get rid of 1 Warden of the Grove. But I think it's already too late. Four lands basically is all they needed. And this is kind of the stuff that Arena does to me now. So it wasn't an apology, right, to give me these. The extra doesn't really help me all that much when I'm facing this. With 4 lands, they managed to get out 5 creatures already and create an entire other army. And they didn't even have 4, they only had 1 more. But Arena gave them both of them up front. Okay, I'm over 20. It doesn't matter, they've got lethal. And it's not like they gave me Exsanguinate this time either, where I should have used a board wipe instead of Exsanguinate. They just got it. Trample and lifelink. What's the final score gonna be here? Yeah, add insult to injury. Take the only card I had that was doing something good. $14 to -13. All my life gain, all my card draw. And they just needed 4 lands to kill me. We have opened a door with this deck. And we are seeing decks that I don't normally face. If I wasn't recording, I probably would have jotted down notes and made a deck out of that one and showed it to y'all later as decks that beat me. Our 1 tutor card in the deck. I mean, it looks like there might be a chance. Let's pass the turn and see if they do anything, first of all. We do have to worry about counterspells. Let's get our card draw going. Why are they looking at my lands? What did you do to my swamp? It's a colorless land. How dare you? I do need 3 black to get Bloodletter of Akhlazot's down, so depending on how many of those they have, they might be able to keep up. Let's try this first. It still counts as a demon, even though it lost all its abilities. It's still the same creature type, so I still get the card draw, and I still get the life gain. If they want to keep that on the field, if they're happy with that enchantment, so am I. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could put this down now. What was that? You enchant it. Doesn't untap. Its activated abilities can't be activated, but it doesn't stop it from being a demon, so both cases, they're still losing. I think we discard... Oh no, we don't discard that. Let's discard the land. We got some good stuff going on here. This blue deck is... I don't know what else is in here, but it's not doing well. They've cast 3 spells the entire time. We can just do this and unlock. Don't need that. I don't even feel like I need this. I always feel bad when I have to discard spells, but at least it's because my cup overfloweth. I have an embarrassment of riches here. 7 lands, they could cast virtually any game-ending bomb in the entire system of Magic the Gathering. And they couldn't do anything. It's a slight change of pace from the drubbing that we just took a couple of the other matches. But yeah, I remember I felt sorry for Mono Red. They eventually Wizards fixed it, and they gave them some really overpowered cards to sort of make up for it. But sometimes if I'm playing this deck and I get my 2 pieces done, I get my game engine in play, I start to feel really bad for Mono Black. Because they can't really do anything about artifacts normally. And so once you see the Furdock Core, there's just nothing left for them to do. Let's go ahead and take the turn. If they can do something here, maybe we can get this down. Stuff for them, but we get this. We also get the demon wall down, so if they can bounce something, we'll still have a second demon around. This has reach, so they can't block, but normally you need to get counters on that first. They've already got 6 lands. Not too shabby. The frogs now have Ward 1. Unblockable. Exile it, bring it back, get more land draw. And get to do a card draw. So, land ramp and card draw. Very nice. That's 5. I don't have enough to pay the ward cost now. But I can pay against this. Other frogs. Oh, it has Ward 1 anyway. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. The auto pay. We'll see if they have a counterspell. Or maybe just something to flip it back up. There we go. I still get the life drain and card draw though, so can they change this value fast enough? Overprotect, so lots of protective spells for their creatures. Let's just bring out a flying demon. I do like that spell. Let's get rid of... Yeah, let's get rid of that. these already have toughness 3. The -2 isn't going to be enough on them. I would have preferred to get some land. Let's get another demon. That way, if they can stop that one, we're still hitting them. Okay, let's get rid of that one. I want the land. I feel like I need the land. I've got 10 lands to my 5. The unblockable frog army. They didn't come prepared to do anything against enchantments, it doesn't seem. We just unlocked this. And I don't think we go and attack. That is a sorcery, right? If we do... Does that happen? Now they have to block with somebody, right? They could kill... No, they can't kill it. They could block with the 0-1. But now they're losing 2 life points each to each one of those. And they don't know we have Exsanguinate. That's a nice card too. Let's get rid of Valgavoth. I don't quite have enough lands to make Valgavoth work just yet. Okay, but they have 11 lands and 7 spells. Let's see what they can do. This can kind of get a boring waiting for this. This is kind of like watching an all airbending deck sometimes with all the frogs. Okay, this is what I was waiting for. Stun counters. Tap the creature. Oh, they're tapping their own, not my flying demon. They want to do card draw. Oh, they can say, okay. So now they're going to tap down the demon, right? They're going to tap down their own creature again? I don't get this. Ah, now I get it. Okay. They had a way to deal with enchantments. Yeah. I can't just put counters on that and run in. They can block it. And they still have 2 energy. Oh, no, they don't. Okay, so now I don't have to worry about a counter spell, right? Do I have enough to make everything work? 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 5. It's not enough. So I have to do this. And then, does anybody have that? That has Ward 1. So if I do this, and I pay the Ward 1, can we get rid of 1 frog? Get a little bit of life gain. Oh, did they get me? Did they get perfectly lethal just before? They still got me. All of that ward. That's overkill now. Just barely. They didn't know I had Exsanguinate. And it's not like I threw away lands. I just had a real trouble getting up the right number of lands that I needed. So was I supposed to play Exsanguinate first and then do the other stuff? Exsanguinate was my ace in the hole. It was my hidden win card. Shows you they didn't just get draw a card, they got land ramp and draw a card. Ended up being crushing against me. Now here we got Valgavoth and Exsanguinate again. See if we can stop any early stuff. Yeah, we can't have Perforating Artist. They've already got 4 lands, so they can cast both of their heavy-duty creatures. So we can see the train wreck coming at us. We better not... Oh, never mind. I only have 3 discard spells in the entire deck, right? So maybe they were afraid. Starting with 4 lands against a discard deck. That might not be appealing to people. My opponent next is Brother Pants. It is interesting, though. Mono Black is a very popular deck construction to use on Arena. You usually run into it every day. Since I made this deck and been playing this deck, I come across almost no Mono Black anymore. Maybe once or twice a day if I'm lucky. So, you know, if you're tired of facing just constant removal decks with just pure Mono Black all the time, you know, play this deck. It'll give you a variety of things to go against. I can't remember the last time I went up against all frogs. And they got us. That was a mulligan. We play this again. What do we not like? We don't like that, but we don't like that more, actually. So they've got the trample already, right? Creatures you control have trample, so this is probably just landfall. When Flopsy enters, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Then they can't be blocked if they're 4 or greater. We'll do that one now. We do have our combo. And a very expensive card that we can't cast. For about 7 more turns. I mean, they should have triggered that so they could play Garruk's Uprising early. This is what's holding them up. This is what we're waiting on. Do you trigger that or not? And if they're going to take this long, this will probably have to be our last match. We'll put down the core first. It's a good canary in the coal mine if you can, rather than taking the card draw and the life loss, because green does have ways to get rid of artifacts and enchantments. And really, if you want to lose something, you want to lose the artifact as opposed to the enchantment, because you can get more demons. So this is the more important card when you're building around. And I think this is a landfall deck that's not drawing land for a change. How horrible to be them. If that's the case, we're going to go straight for the demon, actually. That's going to shorten the clock a lot if that survives for a hit. And this is why we have overkill. Still have enough to unlock that. Get the hit in. Card draw and life gain while they get life loss. Oh, that's beautiful. Now we can go get any demon we want. Well, let's just make sure that they can't get lands out. Now what's interesting, when the creature appears, target creature and opponent gets -2, and target creature controlled is at +2/+2. We didn't get the +2 because they didn't have a creature to do the -2. So it's not you get the added benefit of the +2. You need to actually do both, right? You need to have a creature that you can do -2 in order to get the +2/+2 on your creature. So just an important thing to note for that particular demon, the way it works. And so this is a fun deck for me. It's kind of, like I said, you kind of feel bad because I've been complaining about landfall for better part of 6 months, it feels like. And here, well, I mean, they got land starved, let's be honest. I don't think they were supposed to win that. But this has been kind of cool just because I'm able to use these. I have a lot of, with all of the expansions they've been putting out, I have a lot of one-off cards. You know, I still, I believe, just have only one Valgavoth Terror Eater after all this time. Arena's not giving me anymore. So I'm getting one of these. But I get to play them out in decks like this, and I find a good reason to showcase a lot of these demons without necessarily playing 4 copies. Whereas other decks with the themes great, then you want to build around 4 copies of Bloodletter, for example. But I'm not normally building 4 copies around Savantia Romero, right? I don't see that happening anytime soon. So, but it's fun to get them out and play with them, get some use out of them while they're here in the rotation, without feeling too overwhelmed. So yeah, for that core, if you don't want to play mono black for a while, black can't do anything against the artifacts. If you get this down, and you get down the Unholy Annex, they just don't have a counter. I mean, maybe they have something that can destroy an enchantment every now and then. But you start to feel sorry for mono black after a while. I can't feel too sorry for them because I'm not seeing them often enough anymore to feel sorry for them, because I've been playing this for the last couple days. And this is all it needs to have Arena flip a switch. And it's actually kind of cool because even though I lost half my battles, I lost half my battles to decks that I don't normally face. Right? It's been a long time since I went up against all frogs. That kind of stuff. So, you know, I feel like it's really up to us to be creative and to put out our own variety of decks if we want to unlock these different doors that Arena has in its algorithm to allow us to face the different variety of decks. If we're just going to keep making the exact same stuff all the time, we're going to get stuck against the same archetypes. And you saw we only came up against Landfall really once or twice for the entire series. And that's been, you know, sometimes it feels like every other match that we have is Landfall on this these days. So Arena does try and find other challenges for you when it starts to analyze your deck and understands the strengths of it and what it has to be weak to. It searches out throughout the population to try and say, okay, let's throw this at it and see if that has an impact. And maybe sometimes it can be frustrating because you feel like, oh, I put together an Uber deck, all the stuff I've been facing for the last month, I can just totally trash all that stuff. And then you start coming up against 2-3 different decks and you're like, I haven't played against this. I haven't played against that. How do they have all these cards all of a sudden that I've never going against that are suddenly good against my deck? But it's good just to let you know what's all out in the environment. And it makes sure that you have a bit of a challenge. So go ahead and take a look at this. Let me know if you would change anything to it. As always, I ask you to like and subscribe. But yeah, I like this deck. I feel like it's almost unfair, but then, like I said, then you unlock this door and Arena puts you up against different things you don't normally go against, and guess what? We lose. So, maybe it's not an overpowered card to combine with this. Maybe it's not too unfair. What do you think? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. Is this combination, is the fact that they made an artifact that has the active shapeshifter ability, and you get every single kind of creature counted as being on the board, and being able to pair it up with effects like Unholy Annex, is that unfair? Is that some aspect of the gameplay mechanics that should not be allowed? Should this be banned? In the meantime, also remember that I've got a pull up right now. I'm asking about 4 different cards and which one really should be banned. So go ahead. I'm going to leave that up for the entire month of April, and go ahead and go there. I'll try and mention it whenever I can remember. So that's it for me, everybody. This is Travis signing off from Tpull's Corner. Thanks to y'all for tuning in, and have a good one.